Hi, Simone. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us today. So the thing that I am wondering about this season is the balancing act that Lola's going to have to do as a mother. Because one thing the show has always done from the very beginning is to show how much challenges she faces as a judge, not only within the courtroom, but also behind the scenes in her office and dealing with the clerks and other lawyers and other judges. But now with season 3, she has the added weight, using the term balances, of a baby, and her husband is going to be home full time, which is also going to bring up a lot of challenges, unique challenges that she's not familiar with. So can you just talk a bit about how Lola's going to be struggling with people trying to take her seat as a judge, and people who are going to be throwing obstacles at her to keeping that judgeship, and then also kind of like distracting her as a mother and as a wife and as a friend?
So, this season, similar to other seasons, Lola has people coming for her. I think a lot of people who are a little bit more liberal from the bench face a lot of challenges, especially in this country. We have so many judicial appointees that are conservative. And Lola is certainly a judge with a specific directive that she has for herself. And so the repercussions of the decisions and the cases that she's adjudicated in the last 2 seasons are definitely coming back up for her. She has made quite a few enemies, and we watch her trying to maintain her seat on the bench as well as her voice from the bench, which is, I think, difficult. I think it is a balancing act because judges are an elected position that people have to make when it comes to, do you continue to do the work that you set out to do, or do you change in order to maintain your position? I think it's such an interesting thing in our political landscape as well, where, people start out with one voice in the way that they would like to do their appointed position, and then based on the need to hold on to power, they shift. And so you watch Lola still maintaining, but dealing with it from all points within the courthouse, as well as, within the judge's court, behind the scenes, as well as in front in the court. And when it comes to motherhood, I think it, for her, is a constant pull of, am I doing enough? Am I present enough? Am I making the impact in my daughter's life? Am I missing these huge moments? And I think that what is really beautiful that we were able to explore in the first season is Lola's relationship with her mother. And it's a complicated one. Roxy, played by L. Scott Caldwell, was a woman who chose her career, who chose activism, who chose those things over being a very present mother. And that created a dynamic between she and Lola that Lola doesn't want to recreate in her relationship with Bailey. And I think that it's tough. You can't be everywhere. You can't be everyone to everyone. And, she definitely is struggling with that this season. And we see that becoming a source of conflict between she and Robin as well. That he is the primary, and she has a lot of opinions and ways in which she thinks that things should go, but she's not there every day, or throughout the day. She's there every day, but not throughout the day. And I think that is what a lot of women have to deal with. My mom certainly worked full time, and she worked from 8 to 5. And so our time together was important, and, but I know that she had to deal with that tug. And I know women who deal with that pull, and it's certainly women who are excelling in their careers have to choose sometimes between starting a family. And I think that it's been great that on our show, Lola didn't plan to become a mother. This was not in her 5-year plan, might not have been in her 10-year. Being on the bench for her first full year and finding out that she's a mother, that was something that, took a lot for her to work her mind around. And so we get to see her still dealing with those very real issues, both professionally and personally, which I think is just, I can't say it enough. It's rich for me as an actor to be able to play with those dynamics because they are realities.
I kind of want to go off of what you just said about the friendships and about Mark and Lola never getting together. I think that's amazing because like their relationship is a great example of how you can have truly platonic relationships between men and women that can last years. And well, we as an audience can see all of the chemistry because like they do have a really good chemistry, but it still stays in a very specific pocket. But then I want to talk now about the female friendships as well, because earlier we talked about the balancing act that Lola's going to have to do as a judge and as a mother and everything behind the scenes. But one of the other things about this season is like she's losing her female friendships. You mentioned it a bit, but like all of the women are like kind of like converging onto their own paths, like that. Like Lisa is becoming an appellate judge. She's going into the appellate court system. And Rachel is at another firm, and Emily is going away, and then there's Lisa, but they're all kind of like going their own ways. And one of the things I've always loved about the show is how the female friendships are so foundational to the show itself, and also to Lola as a character. So talk a bit about how like she's gonna how them not being around her and not being the village of support that she needs and not the sisterhood is gonna affect her personally, because like that's such a big part of who she is as a judge as well, because she uses them to bounce information and opinions off of.
I'm so glad you noticed that. It feels what is interesting is that I feel as though the decisions and the personal mistakes or missteps that Lola makes this season are because she doesn't have that village there, those women there to hold up the mirror, to hold her accountable in that way. She certainly professionally has kind of figured herself out in a lot of ways, but not having Lisa right down the hallway is a shift. I think that, that triangle of Lola, Sherry, and Sarah in the courtroom, they don't have that. And so when there is a rift between she and Sherry, it is something that she carries home with her. It's something that, professionally, she is really trying to figure out how to get back to that friendship, because it's not only a comfort, but something that she needs with she and Sherry. And certainly with Rachel being in DC, trying to run the firm and figure things out remotely, not having that girlfriend there that has known you for 20 years to say, girl, you messing up, is why I think she makes a lot of the choices that she makes this season. And they are betrayals in some way to Rachel. And so it's yummy and it's messy. And, I do think that I know I certainly need my sisterhood of friends to hold the mirror up and call me on my stuff. And Lola is not operating in that way this season. And her choices as a result really affect her life and the relationships that she has with the men in her life, which is interesting. Her dad is here a lot more this season, and Roxy is not here as much this season, or at all this season so far. And you get to see a dad, weighing in on the choices that she's making. And it's different, and yet it's fun. I can just say it's just fun.
Oh, I know the fans are gonna love the mess, because like one thing about the show, that one of the reasons they got it came out was because of the live tweets and like all of the social media attention. So I can't wait to see the reactions on Twitter for sure.
I think they're gonna drag Lola by her ponytail. Like I was just talking about this yesterday, and the women who work in the hair and makeup department was like, get ready, because they're gonna drag her up and down the street. Like I'm worried that the fans will not like me anymore because of Lola's choices.
They're gonna snatch her edges. So
they really, we gonna snatch the edges with these scripts, but they gonna snatch all the edges out my head based on these choices, which is, it's fun. you don't want anybody to be perfect. And hopefully I've made them believe in this character enough in the first 2 seasons that they at least take the ride. And they can disagree with her choices, but at least they stay on the show.
Great. Thank you so much. And like, congratulations on the 3rd season.
Thank you.